to fight on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. This is just another example of the clear bias shown by Twitter. The number of followers that A Radio has, for example, has remained the same for some considerable time. Every day we have notifications of new followers, yet the number is exactly the same. And that's just one example. There are many out there. Here's a piece from Fox & Friends, August 27th. It's Jim Hansen, President of Security Studies, talking about another example of shadow banning. Now, the original link has been removed, so we have put a new link on from the Daily Caller. Here's the piece.
Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey recently making a stunning admission.
We need to constantly show that we are not adding our own bias, which I fully admit is more left-leaning.
Well, our next guest claims he's been shadow banned from Twitter. Jim Hansen is here with what needs to happen now. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey admitting his company is more left-leaning than right.
Are we doing something according to political ideology or viewpoints? And we are not. Period. We need to constantly show that we are not adding our own bias, which I fully admit is more left-leaning.
Social media giants have recently been accused of banning conservatives on their sites, like our next guest, who claims he's been shadow banned from Twitter and even met with company officials about it.
Here with more on what they had to say when he confronted Twitter, the president of the Security Studies, Jim Hansen. Jim, what makes you think you're shadow banned?
Well, I am. It's not a question of whether we are or not. There's a tool you can use to test your account that shows whether or not the Twitter quality filter is in effect for your account. Now, what happens is Twitter's CEO is correct when he says they didn't build a tool to discriminate based on viewpoint, but they built a tool that ends up doing that anyhow. And it's because liberals are much more likely to report an account for abuse, to block accounts, to use all the tools that Twitter gave them to complain about content they don't like. They do it, according to studies, 3 times as often as conservatives. So Twitter's quality filter counts up each one of these black marks and says, geez, these must be bad guys because they say things that make people mad. And eventually that puts you in what Twitter calls low quality, and then your tweets are no longer seen by as many people as they were before. We've got definitive proof of that.
You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab, and email. You can now find us on Spotify. Just go to the podcast section and type Canadian Politics with a Twist, and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio. That's EHRADIO, A Radio. And please click on the like button. And you can find all my podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com and click on the Morning Moments tab.